Hi, everyone, and welcome to the, it's really dark, the February meeting of the koha-US acquisition SIG. We're sort of picking up after taking a couple of months off and for holidays and things. Welcome back, everyone. I don't have a specific agenda today. One of the things I want to do today is come up with a list of topics that we can cover in our future meetings so that it's not just about what's interesting to me. I want this to be something that other people get their topics covered as well. So one thing I did want to mention is that the koha-US Development Committee is going to be voting or, sending out a vote pretty soon and to vote on some developments that koha-US could sponsor or partially sponsor. One of the ones there is going to be the development that we talked about in this group. And so I wanted to encourage everybody to vote for that. It's the one that looks at the modifications to a budget during a year. Right now, there's really not a way to track that information. There is now a modification log for acquisitions, budgeting and stuff like that. That was one section of the request that we put in. The rest of it is about getting kind of a user interface and a display of the information so that you don't have to go in there and run reports to find all this stuff. You can actually see it. So if, first requirement is to be a member of koha-US to vote, and then you could vote on getting that development worked on. So thank you, Jason. Jason put it in the chat, the actual bug that we'll be working on. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can contact me about it. But basically, the rest of the bug or development would be to create a user interface that you could see, like here's your original budget. And then, on, February 21, we added $2,000 from a gift from somebody, or we transferred money from this line to that line, or, all that kind of stuff would be recorded there. And then you'd be able to see all that. And then eventually the last section of the bug, it's kind of broken up into three parts. The last part would be to have, like drop downs and things like that, where you could pick the different funds that you wanted to transfer to and from and all that kind of stuff. So it would make tracking changes during the year, like, during COVID, I know our library had a reduction in some of our funds. And so, we had to go in and modify that. But then the next year, all those funds were back. So it was it would be much easier. We had to kind of do some digging to figure out what the original budgets were for the COVID year. So just to make everybody aware of that, and then to encourage everybody to vote for that particular one. I don't even remember there was one other one that was up against it. And I don't remember what that one was. I don't know if Jason or Barbara remembers.
Yeah, I think it has to deal with batch checkouts in the self-checkout module.
Yes, that's right. That's the one that McKinney had put in. Okay. Yeah. So, I guess I would like to get some feedback from people about topics you'd like to talk about in this group. And, we can, if they're a little more complicated or whatever, we can get guest speakers if we need to talk about, I'm thinking specifically some of the developers to come in and kind of talk about how the acquisitions works. We could definitely do that. But does anybody have anything that they're interested in, both in the future, but if you have something that you want to talk about today, we can definitely do that too. Anybody?
Rhonda, I'm thinking maybe we should bring back up the bug enhancement you created and we kind of talked about at the conference for the end of year and
Oh,
knowing
yeah.
where you are. And I can't remember how we phrased that, so I don't remember the bug number, but
Yeah. How did we do that?
that's additional functionality that I think would be very helpful for everyone as they end one fiscal year and need to know, did they really spend their budget? Do they need to make adjustments? And then, what's not gonna come. And so, it's gonna roll over.
Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can find that log changes to baskets. No, that's, I don't remember what we called that either. Yeah, so what Barbara's talking about is, and I'm sure everybody has to deal with this kind of thing, just all of us, some of us it's in June, some of us it's in September, some of it's in December. But just trying to figure out at the, when you get close to the end of the year, having a way, I think we talked about two different things, was a way to designate certain orders for next year's budget, like you could set up next year's budget. And then when you're ordering, you could say, oh, all these aren't going to come out until next year. Let's put them on next year's budget so that they're not muddying up this year's budget and looking like we spent more money. And I think we kind of came up with a pretty, I'll call it slick way of doing that. That should work. We talked with Nick, one of the Bywater developers, about it, and the other part is, just trying to be able to see, especially over the last couple of years, the publishers give you a date that, they think the book is going to come out, and then it ends up being pushed out 4 to 6 months, something like that. So you order it on this year, and then you think, oh, and then you realize, oh no, that's not actually going to happen. So just a way to, again, it's a lot of the same thing, being able to move the money into next year's budget so that you have a better sense of what you've actually spent this year, so that you can, for us, we are a city that it's use it or lose it. So we try to spend down to the last, dollar what we can. And it's a lot of finagling with spreadsheets and stuff like that to actually figure it out. So if koha could do that for us, that would be fantastic. I'm trying to think what we would have. We created a bug at the conference.
I put the bug number in there, Rhonda. I think that's the one.
Okay.
And it's enhance acquisitions to allow ordering on next year's budget when still in current year.
Yeah.
And yeah, we spend a lot of time doing reports, trying to figure out, exactly where we are and trying to predict, what's unlikely to come. And then, at the end of the year, it's kind of like, okay, that's not going to come. So now we look like we have, $500 we could still spend.
Yep.
And it takes a lot of digging to do that. So yeah, if there was some functionality that would help us with this, that'd be a big time saver.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm wondering if this might be a good one to see if we can't get on, what is that thing called, the development board or whatever for Bywater.
I think that's a really good idea, to put that there, and it's like the crowdfunding
Yeah,
page on the bottom, Bywater development
devs. Okay,
section.
there we go. I was trying to remember what that was called. Okay. I will try and get that up there. And then that way, if your library can put in $50 toward it, you can do that. And then, we can see if we can't get a quote on what this would cost from, I don't know, couple different places, maybe, we can do Bywater. We were talking in the development committee meeting about Catalyst being somebody that might be able to get some stuff done for us. So, we could, if we get a whole bunch of libraries that are interested in this function, which I think this is one of those that anybody that's doing acquisitions would be interested in, we can split the cost among us and not be terribly expensive for any one person. So let me do some digging and see what I can come up with as far as getting it on the devs. I think in order to do that, we have to get a quote from Bywater, and so that there's a price associated with it or a cost associated with it. So, yeah, that's a really good example of a acquisitions bug that would really acquisition. Just I think maybe everybody knows this, but acquisitions is a fairly new, like in the last 5 years, 6 years, thing that's been, or let me rephrase that. The whole EDI part of it, I know is fairly new. The acquisition module in general has been out there for a while, but it's, it's still considered kind of in its early stages. So there's a lot of room for improvement here. And as this group, we can really work to push the module forward. So if we can and the other thing, of course, to do is to go to this bug and comment on it and let the developers know, vote for it. What is it? There's a vote thing here somewhere. I don't see it now, but you can vote for it. And then you can comment on it, especially if a developer comes in, because in this particular one, Katrine came in and, asked some questions, and I was able to respond to her and clarify what we were really looking for. So yeah, any kind of, additional comments that you can make, that would be great. So I know Barbara and I at least have talked about this particular problem since we both joined Koha in 2016, I think. But thanks, Barbara. That's a good one. I'd sort of forgotten about that because we're not quite to the end of the year. Give me a couple more months and I would have been, oh yeah, there's that one again.
Yeah, and even in our previous system, this was a challenge. So I assume it may be a fairly complex enhancement.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any other topics that you'd like to talk about in the next few meetings?
Rhonda, I'm gonna put another bug in the chat. This one came up on the list within the past month. It looks like it's something that Christy at Monterey is pursuing for development, but I just wanted to get that in front of the group too, since we didn't meet last month.
Okay, yeah. All right, so this one is upon importing batch records, if a full mark record is found, only append the items, do not overlay a full mark record. Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so basically, if this is like, I'm guessing this is when you buy another copy of something and you have your vendor set up to send you mark records for all the stuff that you get. And what can happen is you've got your beautiful, record with all your library specific stuff in it. You've updated the call number, or you have certain subject headings or whatever that you do in your library. And then this second copy comes in and just overlays all your hard work with a generic record. And so this would allow you to say, hey, if there's a full mark record in the catalog already, just append the item and don't overlay the entire thing. So go ahead.
I think here we don't have that issue. So is this through, like, we're not EDI? So is this an issue all around? Is this an EDI only issue?
Well, we do have EDI, but we have set up what we call dupe accounts with our vendor, where if we know that we're buying an additional copy or a replacement copy or something like that for something, we order it on our dupes account, and then they won't send us the full record, and we don't have to pay for that full record. It's just, it's like 25 cents or 50 cents a record, but still, it can add up, especially with children's books. They are ordering dupes all the time. So we don't have this issue either. I don't know what you guys do, Barbara, as far as,
we are not getting, we're not paying for actual records from the vendor. So we are downloading, once we make our cart, then we download the mark record that way. So maybe that accounts for the difference.
Yep. Yes, that would be the difference. Because we pay for our mark records from Ingram and Midwest Tape. And then they just get sent in a file. And if we don't, if we order them all, dupes and new and everything on the same record order, then when they come in, all of those records are mixed up in the same file. And so if you import that file, you are creating new records and you're overlaying old records, and yeah, it can be kind of crazy. So yeah,
So-
we just separate them.
So I guess I have a question in that. So why would it be different? Like I'm importing a MARC file and
Mhm.
sometimes I have, you know, we're ordering additional copies because of holds or whatever.
Yep.
But I'm also ordering new titles and it's a MARC file. And when I bring it in, it'll just add additional copies to my existing bib. So
Yeah.
what is the file from the vendor? What's different about that it does overlay your nice full record, I'm wondering.
Yeah. And I'm wondering too, and it was so long ago that we set this all up that my recollection is a little rusty. But there is a way to, when you import a file, to say, maybe, okay, hang on one second.
So I'm reading through this bug, and it seems like what she's really wanting is it to not do the all or nothing behavior. So like either overlay everything or don't overlay everything. And ideally it would only overlay if it was a brief record. So like
Yeah.
append
So
to full records, overlay brief records, all in one action. Because right now you either have the option to overlay the record with your items or don't overlay. So then you still have the brief record. That's how I'm understanding it, reading through it. I don't know if that's helpful at all. I don't do
Yeah.
acquisitions, so I can't help too much here.
Okay. I think our koha is having trouble. I've just gotten 3 people calling, texting, emailing me.
Ours is too. I've got a
Okay.
ticket open with Bywater. It sounds like it's a widespread issue.
Okay.
Everybody's struggling right now.
Okay. All right. I will just, I will send out an email and so that everybody stops bugging me right now. Send out a quick, what, all right. Sorry about that. Just real quick so that everybody's aware that I'm aware. Oh, sorry. Now, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought there was, and I think I need a file to test this. So and which I don't have. But when you go to import a file, there's a number of fields, or not fields, but parameters that you can set. And one of them I thought was if you find a match on this record, and then you can tell it what to do. Does anybody else remember anything like that? I'm not even sure.
I think you can have different matching rules. So you can say match and overlay.
Yeah.
And you can say, you know, match and overlay only if the incoming record has more tags or whatever. But it really depends on what your catalogers want, because the catalogers may have what is a briefer record than the incoming one, but it has very good subject headings on it or something that they've spent a lot of time
Right.
you know, setting up. And then what they don't want is you getting something in from the publisher with, you know, a table of contents. So the system
Right.
thinks, oh, this is more useful, and it overwrites it.
Yeah.
I
Go
was
ahead.
looking at what we have when we bring in a MARC file, and we use Baker and Taylor,
Hmm.
and we're not using a MARC modification template. And
Okay.
what we have set up is to match on the 020. And then it says action if matching record is found. We've got it set to replace existing record with incoming record. And then we have action if no match is found, add incoming record. And then we have it always adding the items. And what I can tell you is that it does add additional copies to the existing bib. And yet when I look at where it says action if matching record is found, and we have it set to replace existing record with incoming record, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like it should replace the record, and
The
yet
whole thing.
it's just adding additional copies. So I don't really know why that is, but
But do you know, Barbara, from looking at it, has it updated the bibliographic record at the same time? And
it's
if you're always buying from Baker and Taylor, maybe the bib record hasn't changed. You know, you probably got a really good bib record the first time you bought this title. And now if you buy additional copies, they may not have updated that biblio at all since then. You know, they'd have no reason for updating it.
Yeah, what I can say is that in our bib records, after we've cataloged a title, we are putting our call number in it in an 099. And for new titles, we're always adding a local subject heading of, you know, new books December or new books January or something like that. So it would seem if the new record was actually overlaying my record, I would lose those local things, and I'm not.
Yeah.
That's not, yeah, that sounds like the acquisitions module isn't always paying attention to those matching rules.
And I mean, I don't normally do it. I have an assistant that does it. And I know that I'll get myself confused sometimes when I look at this portion of what we have set up, because I'll think, well, it does sound like it, you know, is going to overlay and replace, and yet I can confirm that it's not. And so this is working for us beautifully, but I'm not exactly sure why.
But don't touch it if it's working.
I know.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
know.
If it ain't broke. So where did you find your matching rules, Barbara? Because I'm curious what ours are. Is
Well,
that under?
I went in right now because we're not using a MARC modification template. I'm only looking at the stage MARC records for import. And then the 3 questions it asks you about, look for existing records in the catalog.
Okay. Is that under
I can share my screen if
tools? Okay. Yeah,
if
go
I
ahead.
am capable of doing that.
I have every confidence in you.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
Stage MARC records for import. Okay.
Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
So
And then you got to pick a file or something. That's
yeah,
where
so
I
I
get stuck.
already picked a MARC file, which I'm not going to bring in because they're already in there.
Oh, okay.
And then I do have my profile set up. And when I choose my profile, my Baker and Taylor profile, these are all of these, you know, are the rules that I have in that profile. So I'm not using a template.
Okay.
I'm matching on the 020. It says replace existing record with incoming record. but it also says add incoming record. And then here's our items part.
Yeah, check for embedded item record data. Yes, you want to do that. And always add items.
So I
Because
don't,
that looks like ours too.
okay.
And when we
And are
yeah.
you using a modification template at all?
we're doing, we have an acquisitions template just because it's got like 2 lines in it. And I don't even remember what's in it anymore. We used to, append on order in uppercase to the end of the title, for our old system. Just so that people, it was really hard to figure out which items were on order or not before. But let's see, you go to tools and mark modification templates. Let me see. Okay, so here's our actions.
I'll stop sharing.
Okay, yeah, we don't update existing or add new field with value on order. Oh, we add on order to the 942 subfield C if there isn't something there already. That's all. That's all that we do for the acquisition template. But yeah, because that is, oh, that's just where I want. Stage records for import.
Ours is the same as Barbara's
Uh-huh.
because we do have EDI. I ordered through EDI, but we get the short bib when the order is placed. So when we actually receive our books, then we upload the new file, which overlays the new bib record. And if we add extra items, the same thing happens. It just adds another item. Like if I have to order a replacement, only an extra item is added, not the bib record. It never changes.
I wonder. Yeah, so this was, who was this that did it? This was Marcy or no? Where's my bug? No, that's the wrong one. Okay, so this is, oh, for Monterey. Okay. So I'm wondering, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, but since we have, so Victoria, you also have the check for embedded record data question mark set to yes, and then always add item.
Yes, we have the same, very similar. Do not, let's see, don't use template because we don't have a template. Action if matching record is found, replace with existing incoming record. But again, same thing with Barbara, it doesn't replace it. It leaves the same bib record. So I'm not, I don't know when it says replaces existing record, are they talking about the item record or the bib record?
Yeah, I would assume they're talking about the bib record because, because the whole second, the section below it is more specific to the item, but
but it could be like I think it was Daphne that said that because the bib record hasn't changed, it doesn't replace it.
Okay.
It keeps the good bib record. It just adds the incoming item record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a mystery. I'll have to play around with that and see what happens. Huh. Okay, maybe we can get a developer to come to a meeting and kind of walk through this stuff with us and kind of clarify, because it seems like, I mean, when I read action, if matching record found, it says replace existing record with incoming record. I would think that whatever I had in the catalog is now going to get overlaid, but we're not, that's not what we're seeing, right? That might be a good, get a developer to look at that and explain what's really happening. And maybe we need to update some of the wording on here to clarify what's going on. So
Or
let's
maybe
see.
even an educator who can explain to us what the
Yeah,
differences of these choices actually mean,
yeah, that's a good
and
thought,
why
Barbara.
maybe ours seem to be doing one thing and others are different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I will put out a request to get an educator at our next meeting, I guess. Because I think that's an important topic. Because I've always been like, okay, these are the things that we fill in here, deep, you know, and I'm I sort of understand, but there is that matching record found question, because it doesn't always seem to replace the entire record. Okay, then we will definitely talk more about that. And that will be, I'll get one of the educators from Bywater. I'll ask now so that they have time to really investigate and figure out what's going on. And tell them to look at the recording for this session and if they have questions. Any other bugs or things that you think would be really cool if we could do, or anything like that? I know. Okay, so of the people here, do you use EDI or non-EDI acquisitions? You know, Barbara's non-EDI. Victoria, you're EDI, right?
Yes, we are. And we just went with Midwest as well. Just did our
Okay.
setup for EDI for our movies.
Mhm.
So
Okay. All right. And Amanda says non-EDI. Monique, what are you guys? Okay, there, non-EDI. Oh, wait. Amanda is EDI. Sorry, I was had my eyes crossed, I guess. Okay, so Amanda's EDI and Monique is non-EDI. So we've got a pretty even, because Jason, your libraries are non-EDI, right?
Yeah, we don't even use the acquisitions. The only thing we use acquisitions module for is purchase suggestions at this point.
Purchase. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Then yeah, we've kind of got kind of an even representation here. So we want to make sure that everything works for everybody. I just had a thought go through my head about another. Oh, yeah, that's the reason I was talking about EDI. Was with EDI, our old system would notify through EDI when a book had been canceled, and then would cancel our order for us, which Koha currently doesn't do. We need to go in manually and update that. So that is something that we would like to get back someday. But that's very EDI specific.
That bug looks related that I just put in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wouldn't that be terrific? Oops. Oh, there we go. Allow sending a cancellation email to vendor when an order is canceled in Koha. Okay. Katrine, all right. Might want to cancel your order with the vendor. Oh, okay. Yeah, that seems related. And that would be the way Katrine has it is not necessarily EDI. But yeah, if we could have, you know, the systems talk to each other and identify when something is canceled, that would be. So what we need to do is I thought about this the other day. We need to get a list from Bywater of everybody that's thinking about joining or, you know, signing a contract with Bywater. And then we got to get to them first before they sign the contract and tell them what bugs they need to say, oh, we're only going to sign on this contract if we have this function. And
Ooh,
then we
I
can all
like that
work
idea.
together.
If only.
This
If
sounds like
only
some
is
sort
right.
of form of extortion or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what
yeah.
the actual term would be for this.
It's probably not totally legal, or not, I don't know about legal, but on the up and up. But that's why I was thinking, oh, this is recorded. I probably shouldn't say this. But
Be kind of like insider trading or something.
yeah, exactly. Oh, well, we can dream. But anyway, okay. Is there anything else topics that we would like to see covered in the meetings in the future? If you think of something after this meeting is over, just email me and I can add it to the list. But yeah, if there's something else that might benefit from people that, you know, chatting about it together, that would be, now is the time. Yes.
I have a question about something that was supposed to be coming up
Okay.
soon. It's the capability of being able to receive multiple items.
Yep. Where's that bug? I've got it in, like it pre-populates my search box, so it's not like I haven't searched on that one before. But receiving, okay, is this it? Oh, receive multiple order lines at once. Currently hindered by repetitive processor. Okay, this looks like it, and it looks like it failed the QA. Is the latest status on that one? Oh Lord, this is a long page. Okay. Yeah, it looks like Barbara recently commented on this one. No, well, recently as in September or October of last year. So February 1 is removing a header filter from DT Robert, whatever that means. I don't. but it's currently failed QA, so that means they've got to go back and fix something. But yes, what question did you have about this?
No, how far was it in the?
Yeah. And yeah,
Thank you for checking.
yeah, it's failed. It's got 21 votes. I mean, 51 votes, which is the most I've ever seen on any bug.
That's great.
So, yeah, and it's got a bug number of 8,179, which I think we're in the, what are we in now? 30,000 now, something like that. So this has been out there a while. Oh yeah, 2012 is the first first comment or whatever.
Oh my
So
goodness.
we're working on
Been some time.
yeah. In June, on June 1, it will be 11 years in the making.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. But okay, so we've gotten all the way to it might be a good idea at this point, since there hasn't been much action since October on this one, for people to put comments in here and just say, hey, what's the status of this? This would really help us, blah, blah, blah. Because they pay attention to that. Like the person who's assigned this will get notifications when comments are made and stuff like that. So they will see that. So that might be a good one to poke at, because I know this would save so many libraries so much time to be able to do that. Okay, so just kind of wrap up or whatever is when if you're a member of koha-US, you can vote on the next development that koha-US sponsors. And this one, the acquisitions group came up with a development, and it would be, it's not a cheap one. So if your library can throw in a little bit, that would be great. Just to let, once it gets voted on or whatever, I think the plan now is to put the developments that koha-US is interested in working on. Excuse me a second, I'm about to cough. Sorry about that. On the devs page for Bywater or devs.bywatersolutions.com. So then you can indicate on there that you would like to help support it, but that's the one where where you'd be able to track more easily the changes to budgets during the year. Then we've got the end of the year processing that I'm going to work on getting on the devs page and get a quote for it too. And then for next month, we have bug 31092, but just get an educator in to talk us through that. What is that? Staging of a MARC record for import. Hang on.
I just made a comment on the 8179 to poke at it a little. So, and there's a huge list of, people that are getting CC'd on this. So poking is good.
Yeah. Yeah, 24 people are CC'd on this one, so, and everybody gets an update when you poke at it. So, okay, I think I'm about at the end of my voice here. Got a tickle in my throat that I can't get rid of. So, yeah, next month we'll talk about the staging mark records for import and that kind of thing. And then if you have any other topics that you'd like us to talk about, please email me or the list or whatever, and we can get guest speakers or whatever we need, do some little research before so that we can really tackle the topics. So if we don't have any other topics, then I would say we can call this a meeting. And we will see everybody next month. I think it will be the 21st of March, just the way, yeah, March 22nd at the same time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Mountain, and no, I'm doing this backwards, aren't I? Noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Mountain, 9 o'clock Pacific. And we'll see you all next month. Have a great month, everybody.
Bye.
And bye.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Okay.